Hi artists, I'm so sorry I couldn't be here today, but I did not want you to get behind on your work, so we're going to continue on your 3D letters today. Last class, you started adding some fun details to some of your letters. I know we looked at some MC Escher work and some of you went that direction, others went a little more cartoony and added some eyes or some animals or things like that to your letters. So that's the first step for today. You want to finish adding all those extras to your drawing. When you're finished adding all of the extra things you would like to add to your letters, then it's time to add the value to your letters. A few weeks ago, we started practicing making a value scale, working with lights and darks. We worked on this worksheet where we practiced adding value based on where the light source was. If you don't remember how to do this, just wait till the very end of the video and I'll go over it again step by step. And the last step for today would be to add some color to your artwork. This is completely optional. You don't have to add color, but you may if you want to. So to recap, once you're finished drawing your letters or transferring them to your paper, then you want to add all those extra details to make it more interesting. Then add your value, your lights and darks, to the letters only, and if you want, you can add some color to finish it off. Don't worry, I don't expect you to finish your piece today. I just wanted to show you the next few steps, so if you are ready, you can move on to those steps. Last thing, if you are ready to color, please use colored pencil. It allows you to show the values a little bit better that way. All right, artists, if you are still adding your extras, your details, go ahead and start adding those now. If you are ready to move on to value or to coloring, please watch the next section of the video to find out what to do. Adding value. Once you're finished adding all of your designs, it's time to start thinking about the shading. Think about where your light source is coming from. You don't have to add a sun if you don't want to. I just put that there as a reminder. So if my light source, my sun, is off to the left, I have to think about where the darkest part of my letters would be. Probably on the bottom. So I'll use my pencil carefully and start shading all of the bottom shapes of my letters. Remember, you don't have to get as dark as possible right away. You can work up the layers gradually so you slowly build the value you want the letter to be. This also works well in case you get out of the lines as you're coloring. It's much easier to erase a lighter line than a darker line. Once all of my darkest values are filled in, I have to think about what my next value will be. If my sun is on the left, I know that the left side of my letters will be the lightest, which means the front of my letters is going to be my medium value. Notice how far back I'm holding my pencil. This allows me to color pretty easily, and it kind of keeps me from putting too much pressure on my pencil so I don't get too dark accidentally. Remember, it's always easier to make your values darker than to make your values lighter once they're too dark. So I'd rather you go really lightly in the beginning and slowly build up the layers to make your value a little bit darker so it meets that medium value that you're looking for. If you do color a little bit outside the lines, just go back with your eraser and almost draw your lines again. At this point, I may even go in with my pencil again and almost re-outline some of my letters just to make sure that the front of my letter really stands out and again has those crisp outlines. And of course, my last step will be to add the lightest value in my piece, which would be the side facing the sun. Again, notice how far back I'm holding my pencil at the very, very tip. And I'm, as lightly as I can, filling in the last side of my letters. Color. I figured a lot of you may want to add some color to your letters, so I wanted to do some experimenting. First, I tried using some marker, and the values are really hard to see. But then I switched to colored pencils, and that seemed to work a little bit better. If you would like to add color to your letters, you may do that. I recommend coloring over the entire letter with a light value to begin with. You can always go a little bit darker later, but start out very, very light. Once you finish that first layer, if you notice you need a difference in your values, go ahead and add a second layer on top of your medium value to make it stand out a little bit more. Feel free to trace around your letter one last time if you think the edges need to be made to look a little sharper. You may also use colored pencils to color in the rest of the details and the designs and the characters and all those extra things you decided to add to your artwork. Now it's your turn. Get to work, have fun, and I'll see you next week.